Let's bring in Mike Florio, the Pro Football Talk Live co-host, of course, Football Night in America. Is he 31, Paulie?
Yeah, 31.
Oh, okay. Let's bring in Florio. Why do you think Sean Payton's in love with this experiment with Taysom Hill?
I mean, this is a guy that Taysom Hill, this is a guy that Sean Payton discovered, developed, groomed. And, it's getting to the point where they've got to pick a lane for this guy. He's either going to be a quarterback or he's going to be a jack of all trades. And I think the fact that he's so good at other positions has limited his growth as a quarterback. He hasn't gotten the opportunities. He didn't win the starting job this year over Jameis Winston. I think that was very telling. And now he's got this convoluted contract that pays him a lot of money if he plays quarterback and plays well. But based on what we saw last night, you're going to have the people who say, and there's this segment of the fan base out there generally that hates Taysom Hill, that thinks it's all a bunch of hype, that there isn't anything there. Well, he did go 3-1 last year when Drew Brees was injured. They forget about that. And he did have a jacked up finger last night, and he played with that. And he didn't have Alvin Kamara, and they haven't had Michael Thomas. They got a bunch of guys that we haven't really heard of before running the routes and catching the passes. So is he ever going to be a franchise quarterback? No. The question is he going to be good enough for Sean Payton? And my guess is when the dust settles on this season, Payton's going to see what's out there by way of potentially finding himself an upgrade that will put them at a level that they were at when they had Drew Brees for all those years.
But they're investing all this money in him, Mike. I don't understand that they keep investing in him. They're going to have more money invested in Taysom Hill than Alvin Kamara.
Well, what they've got is $20 million over the next 2 years, 2022 and 2023. That's the baseline. That's, as a practical matter, guaranteed to Taysom Hill. The question is, how much more above that will he earn? And he only earns more over the next 2 seasons, 22 and 23, by playing quarterback, having a minimum of 224 pass attempts each year, playing well at quarterback. It's a very carefully crafted schedule and formula of how much more he's going to make. And he's got to do this to make more. And if they make the playoffs, he gets more. And if he plays this much, he gets more. So it was done to basically pay as he plays and pay as he plays well. But it gives the Saints the flexibility to say, nah, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to let you be fullback, H-back, tight end, whatever. And you're going to throw a pass every once in a while, but you're not going to be the regular quarterback. They get to make that decision. They have the exclusive right, Sean Payton does, to make that decision, what he's going to do with Taysom Hill going forward.
Yeah, I just think commit to him. Just see what he can do. If you think he's Lamar Jackson light, then let's just see it. But I think when you keep putting him in and then you take him out and then you sort of put him in and then you sort of take him out, I don't think you can. And quarterbacking is about rhythm. It's familiarity, being comfortable. Explain the Antonio Brown situation.
Well, the report first emerged 15 days ago that Antonio Brown used a fake vaccination card, and that information came from his former live-in chef who allegedly had a bill that Antonio Brown doesn't pay. Not the first time that Antonio Brown has not paid his bills. And if he had only paid this guy's bill, we would have never known that Antonio Brown had a fake vaccination card. It's so strange how things come to light. But the league investigated and determined that 3 Buccaneers players, Antonio Brown, safety Mike Edwards, and John Franklin III, who's no longer with the team, misrepresented their vaccination status, and each is suspended 3 games. For Franklin, it doesn't matter. He's not in the league, but the other 2 will lose 3 game checks because of this, and it's all because of that fake vaccination card. And the temptation was real. And there had been chatter about possible fake vaccination cards throughout the season. Defector.com had a great item about it back in September. I've heard ESPN has been sniffing around it and doing some reporting on it and planning something at some point on the issue of fake vaccination cards. But when you look at the dramatic difference between how vaccinated players are treated and unvaccinated players are treated, hey, there's a temptation to get a fake vaccine card so you can choose to not be vaccinated, but take advantage of the benefits of being vaccinated. And that's what Antonio Brown and others have done.
How's this different from Aaron Rodgers?
Well, it's different because Antonio Brown lied to his team and to the league. Aaron Rodgers just lied to everybody else. The Packers and the league knew that Aaron Rodgers wasn't vaccinated, but he conducted himself in the public eye as if he were vaccinated, and the team and the league let him do it, showing up for the press conferences twice a week, in the room, in the facility, with reporters present, no mask on. That confirms what Aaron Rodgers said on August 26th when he was asked point blank, are you vaccinated? And he said, yeah, I've been immunized. Everything he did after that publicly supported the idea that he was indeed vaccinated. So he lied to everybody else. Brown lied to the league. And that's why Brown got suspended. Now, for some people, that's not good enough because they look at it and they say a lie is a lie. I mean, you're endangering reporters by being in the room, by violating protocol. And all he ever was fined was $14,000 for going to that Halloween party. There is a disparity there. But the big difference is Brown got a fake vaccination card, used a fake vaccination card. Aaron Rodgers didn't do that.
Yeah, I just wonder if looking back, the NFL and or the Packers should have just suspended Aaron Rodgers. The NFL should have suspended Aaron Rodgers for a game. I mean, they've taken measures against teams, and this is the quarterback of that team. And I'm not, going after Rodgers in specifically, but he is the person that we're talking about right now. But there have been other situations with the Raiders and the Saints, the Titans, other teams. This is a team issue as well because the team was aware of this and the NFL was aware of this. And it looks like the NFL is complicit in this.
Oh, absolutely, Dan, because it's one thing for the NFL to study surveillance cameras to see whether or not Aaron Rodgers is wearing his mask in the building, in the locker room, et cetera. But everybody had access to the video from the press conferences where he was showing up without a mask on. So the league knew that he was violating protocol. The league knew the Packers were letting him violate protocol. And as I said at the time, $300,000 fine to the Packers, that's money well spent because they didn't have to further undermine their tenuous relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And because the Packers are publicly owned and they're currently selling up to 300,000 shares of stock for anybody who wants to hang a piece of paper on their wall that is essentially worthless other than the value of the piece of paper, the money just comes off the balance sheet. It's not coming out of anybody's pocket. Mark Murphy didn't get fined $300,000. He just moved money around on the books. And it's money, again, it's money well spent because they didn't risk further pissing off a quarterback who was already upset with them. So the league should have stepped in and said, hey, Aaron, you got to wear your mask in these press conferences or you have to do them by Zoom like you're doing them now.
Are the Broncos being sold?
Well, I think eventually they will be. Look, they've got a strange situation there. It's been lingering for years. Pat Bowlen, the late owner of the team, put the team into trust and created kind of this strange intra-family Willy Wonka competition where the trustees would decide which of his 7 kids is suited to run the team. The problem is they all have to be on board with it. And if they're not on board with it, they either got to be bought out or the team has to be sold. And it's been pointing in the direction, number one, of this coming to a resolution next year because the league is saying it's time to resolve this. And number two, the likely resolution being the highest bidder buys the Broncos.
Good stuff as always, Mike. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
All right, Dan. Good talking to you, pal.
That's Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host and a contributor to Football Night in America.